D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, I just finished the latest episode of Peacemaker on HBO Max. I have to do it later on the day because I have to do it when my son goes down for nap time. Because it's very adult, and they don't need to see that crap on the TV and everything. I just have to say I do really enjoy this show. I think James Gunn is doing a good job writing wise. I know some people may not like his sense of humor, but I do. It's very funny. Plus, I think that he, like, for instance, in this episode, he explains Batman in a very interesting way, but also a comedic way with the old man, which we'll get into it when I break this thing down. But I think that this show is definitely a good one. I hope we get to season 2. And I hope we see more of Peacemaker, even though I'm not a huge fan of John Cena. I never have been. I do enjoy him as Peacemaker because he's like this goofy douche that's very at the same, and I like his conflict, especially with his dad, the whole conflict with his dad. Like, his dad is just a monster, a vomitous human being, but yet he's all like, it's my dad. I totally I love that whole conflict and everything. So, and I love this whole mystery of the butterflies things, which I have a theory on, kind of, but I'll talk about that at the end or whatnot. So why don't we go ahead and get started on this breakdown? Before I get started, though, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. It's so annoying. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started on this breakdown? So it starts off right where the last one left off. Of course it would. And we're going through, and they're sitting here talking about, certain things. Vigilante's complaining about his toe, and he's all like, without the toe, I'm not going to be able to walk. And they're like, that's not true, and everything. You can lose the pinky as long as you don't use up to the knuckle. I'm using my up to the knuckle thing. You should be able to walk fine and everything. He's like, but he was all like, everybody's just going to laugh at me whenever I try to walk because I'm just going to fall over. And she's like, you're not going to fall over, and no one's going to laugh at you. And he starts laughing, and he's like, I'm just imagining falling over. And then Judo Master, so glad he's not dead, which we'll talk about that at the end, but he falls over and they're like, what are we going to do with this guy? And they pull out their guns to kill him. I was like, that is so funny. And they're like, no, what are you doing? And everything. So then back at home base headquarters, this crappy, I love how it says daddy right here. I'm like, what's that all about? Anyways, so they're opening up boxes, which I'm all like, did they get that from the senator guy's house? And if so, what's that all about? And it's interesting. I'm going to be very interested to see who's a butterfly and what that's all about, kind of thing. So then Murn comes in, and everything. This is not a DC character. He's new to the show, but I do like this character. The actor, I don't know his name and I didn't write it down, but he's going to be in Marvel as a bad guy, I believe, in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. We'll see. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Anyways. No, that's Kang. It doesn't matter. Okay, anyways. No more Marvel talk. So then, they're sitting here talking, and he takes him into his office, and he's like, hey, what's going on with you? You choked out there. And he's like, I didn't choke. You didn't put the peace dove on my gun and everything. And he talks about how, I am, ready to fight for liberty, but, I can't do it, if you're not going to, prepare me, kind of thing. And then he tells him about how they framed his dad. And so he's upset about that. And then, what is her name? Shoot, I didn't write it down. Anyways, she's doing a good job, though. I like this actress a lot. She's talking about, she just got married. Congratulations to her. I saw her on Twitter. She just got married. She looked great. Anyways, sorry. I keep getting off on these dumb tangents, although weddings are dumb. Love is not a dumb tangent. Anyways, so she's talking about how she pointed that gun at that security guy, and then what's her face? She told her to kill him, and she didn't kill him. And she's like, I've never killed anybody. I've never even pointed my gun at anybody. And she's all like, you'll get used to it, kind of thing. And so he's got to keep Judo Master alive. And she's like, we're just going to keep him here. He's like, where else would we keep him? She's like, I don't know, at a hospital. And he's like, yeah, so you can go and narc on us and everything. And he's like, you don't F with me kind of thing. She's like, I use ass kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, all right, calm down. And so in the car, he's like, I got to go, because he's upset about his dad. He's like, I got to go see, to my dad's house. And he's like, hey, you were very, like, unsympathetic to my torture back there. And he's like, I was not. And he's all like, you totally let him cut half my toe off and everything. And then he's like, and he's like, you seem like you're angry. He's like, I'm not angry. And he's all like, you said that in an angry way. And he's all like, maybe as your best friend, if you didn't let them torture me. And he's like, listen, I'm sorry, okay? And he's all like, oh, it's no big deal and everything. It's totally cool. It's still besties kind of thing. And then they get to and he talks about his dad. He's like, your dad's a racist and everything. And his dad is a racist, which is like good for the show in the sense that, we get to, sorry, my phone's going off, that we get to, see his conflict with that. And I do like that because even though his dad's a complete racist, I like that we got to see the conflict of him trying to be like, yeah, my dad sucks. He's a monster of a human being, but he's my dad. I get it, but honestly, if my dad was like this, I'd cut him off. I'd be like, I don't want anything to do. But he is all like, he makes cool stuff for me, and he does. So I'm all like, well, you need to find somebody else to make your stuff for you, dude, because your dad just needs to be put down. And they almost do it, anyways. So he gets to his house. He goes in. The neighbor. I love how the neighbors touch a yenta. I'm the same. And he goes in. I don't know if this Charlie the Gorilla thing has anything to do with what's going on the show. Like maybe it's a butterfly, or my first reaction when they said gorilla was Gorilla Grodd, but it's not named Gorilla. So I was like, well, maybe Gorilla Grodd was named Charlie at the beginning. I don't know. Anyway, that was my first reaction. I was like, oh, is that Gorilla Grodd? Anyways, so he goes into his little thing, and he steals all the helmets, and then he sees his outfit as White Dragon, I think it is, or Dragon Master. White Dragon. We'll say White Dragon. This is a cool outfit. I mean, even though he's a villain, and Vigilante comes in. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's your dad's villain outfit." And he's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "This is a lot of room." And he's like, "It's an interdimensional space, vault or whatever." I can't remember what he says. Very, very cool. Probably in the comics. I didn't look it up and everything. And so he's all like, he's talking about his dad, his dad being a racist, and he's all like, listen, if it looks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, it walks like a duck, it probably is a duck. He's like, what does that even mean? And then he's like, they do it in a funny way, this back and forth banter about how, like, if it's a duck or not. And I'm all like, this is funny. I like James Gunn's writing. I really do. He's very good. I do like his writing. He's like, F you. And he's like, F you and everything. So he basically tells him, like, cut your dad off. Like, don't go to him. Just let him, why haven't you killed him yet? Because he's racist and everything. And he's a villain and everything. And then the neighbor's all like, if you're a superhero, right, but you kill people. Batman never killed people. And he's all like, you know what? Batman didn't kill people because he's, he basically just calls them, a wuss about it and everything. And I'm like, a small piece of me wanted to be like, don't talk shit about Batman. I'm not here for that. James Gunn, you cut that out. You cut that out. Don't talk crap about Batman. I love Batman. But I did think this was good commentary because he's all like, Batman doesn't kill people. He just lets them, get put in jail to escape again. And he's probably contributed to more people dying than I have because those psychopaths then get out and kill more people. And I was like, that's a very good commentary and so true. Batman does not kill, which I personally like that he doesn't kill. But at the same time, it does contribute to more people dying in the end. Okay. So then he leaves, and he's like, with that attitude, you're more of a villain than a hero. I'm like, that's so true. I like this old man. I'm so happy that James Gunn put him in this show because he's such a yenta, and I'm such the same way. I'm such a yenta, but I mean, I wouldn't be like in people's face. I would just watch from afar and just be like, what's going on here? So then he calls him, and he's all like, my dad's in jail. Because he didn't find out about his dad here. He's like, my dad's in jail. You set him up, and he's like, yeah, we changed his, I won't tell you who, and he figures out it's this guy. And so he's looking at him, and he's all like, why is he pissing me again? And I don't remember what she says, but I'm pretty sure it was funny. So he's all like, why haven't you killed your dad? And everything. I can't remember what they say here. Darn it. And I didn't write it down because I'm trying to get this done before I got to go to my 9 to 5. So then he's sitting here talking to Adebayo. Is that her name? Oh, frick. I wish I would have wrote it down. Again, love this actress. She's so good. She besides Peacemaker and Vigilante, because they're superheroes, she's my favorite part. She's so good. And I think James Gunn made her up for this show too. If she's in the comic books, I don't know because I've never read a Peacemaker comic book. But now I want to. Anyways, okay. So he's all like, you need to go convince him not to go see his dad because this is a bad choice because it just makes him look bad and, he could get arrested. Sorry, I had to take my hat off. I was getting really hot. So then he leaves. Judo Master wakes up and he's all like, oh, I'm caught and everything. So then he starts to wiggle his hand because he's a Judo Master. And spoiler alert, he gets out. So then they go to the prison and she's like, listen. She's like, you need to not go see your dad. Your dad's a bad guy. And he's like, you framed him? She's like, what's his face? Change his fingerprints so it matches him and change the title of the card or whatnot. Car to him also. So it looks like he was at that woman's apartment and not you. And he talks about how this is his dad and everything, and I love him because he's my dad and everything. And I'm all like, sometimes you just gotta cut. Sometimes, and I really like the way that the show is doing it, but sometimes you just gotta cut family off because it's like they're not gonna change, and you can't sit around waiting for them to change. And it's like, and that's what Peacemaker. I think he's gonna kill his dad by the end of this show. He is going to. His dad's going to put on his outfit and they're going to have a showdown and then he's going to kill his dad. That's my theory on that. So then he goes in and then she's like, you're Vigilante, right? And he's like, no. And she's like, you sound like Vigilante. He's like, no. And she's like, you just changed your voice from 2 seconds ago. And he's like, no. And he's all like, I changed my voice because I was about to call. I don't even know who Vigilante is. Vigilante could be a woman. You don't know. And then she's like, why are you limping? He's like, it's a snowboard accident. It has nothing to do with anything. So funny. Very good. Very good. I like it. I like Vigilante a lot. Then I like Stroma. John Stroma? I don't remember his first name, but Stroma is his last name. So then he's like, you got a visitor. So then they're sitting here and he's all like, hey, Dad, they framed you. It wasn't my fault, but I need you to stay in here until I finish the mission, and then we'll get you out. And he's like, I'm no narc, but I'm going to go tell the cops. And he's like, well, that's the definition of a narc if you go tell the cops and everything. By the way, don't be a narc. It's bad news for everybody. Bad news bears for everybody. You just sit and be like me, be a yenta, where you know what's going on, but you don't say anything. So then they get into penis talk, where he says he's a chode. He's like, what does he say? Shoot, I didn't write it down. I wish I had more time to do notes on this because it was very good. I laughed a lot during this conversation. He's like, that's a chode, and he's all like, not a chode. He's like something about I don't remember. And if you don't know what a chode is, look it up. We'll just say they're having penis talk, and it's where you're thicker than you are bigger. You've got a girthy root and everything. So, and he says he's gonna tell him and everything. And so then these two are Vigilante and her are sitting here. Adebayo, I think that's her name. Man, I wish I would have wrote it down, and I don't have time right now to. But she's all like, yeah, his dad's bad. I wish he wasn't around to, F his head up and everything. He gets the long story short, she's convincing him to go kill his dad. And I'm all like, me personally, as soon as she said it, because she even does this like I shouldn't do it kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't do it. Don't tell him to go kill his dad or whatnot. So then he comes out and he's like, where's Vigilante? She's like, who's Vigilante? And he's all like, seriously? And she's like, yeah, he left or whatnot. So then in the car, she's like, you're a good guy. Your dad is not a good guy. He's a bad guy. And I was like, yeah, tell him. He needs to hear this stuff on a constant basis. She's like, and what he did to you when you were a kid really effed you up and everything. And said something about it's in his files and whatnot. So then Vigilante goes in front of all these cops. He goes and picks up this trash. I love how they just sat there and let him do it. I'm all like,
why didn't you say, like, hey, dude, what are you doing? And those trash cans, by the way, are very heavy. I'm surprised he picked it up, because I've tried to pick one of those up, and they're made of metal, and the bottom is, like bottom heavy, so it's like picking up this, like, very heavy weight. It sucks, but anyways. So then, he picks up and hits the window, and then they arrest him. He's all like, I will get on the ground. I'll get on the ground all day, every day. He's like, but please don't hurt my toe, because it was just hurt in an accident or whatever. So then they get a call because Judo Master has been set free, and he's in the background here. You can he's all blurry. I should have got a better thing of it, a better snapshot of it. But he's all like, he's eating chips again. I love that he eats chips. I love it. It's so good. And then he turns around and he kicks him into this thing. So then they get there, and he's all like, he went out the window. He jumps out the window, and I love that how he jumps off the thing and just does the superhero landing. I love it. I love it. It's so good. So good. And then he goes out, and he's like, rematch, mother effer. He's all like, I'm going to take you down. And I knew he was on top of this truck right here, the top of the truck. I was like, oh, he's going to come down from the top of the truck. You should always prepare, be prepared, or be ready, or always be ready, whatever that thing goes in karate, where there's like, always be ready and everything. So he jumps down, and they start fighting. And then he says something about how his body is misshaped. And he's like, oh, personal attacks. Good one, shorty. And I was like, that's so funny. Because he's like, so they're fighting. And he's like, and then Judo Master goes, the butterflies, they're not what you think. And then he gets shot by, I don't remember her name. Man, I hate that I don't remember her name. But then he's like, it's cool. He's a Judo Master. He's like, they concentrate on something else, so soon he'll replace his heart with his kidney. She's all like, what? That makes no sense. I love it. It's like in episode 3 or 2 or 3 when he's like talking about butt babies. It's so funny. So funny. I think it was episode 3. It's so funny. So he goes home. Oh, I forgot to mention something. I'll mention it when it comes up. So this guy's in prison, and he's getting, crap talk by everybody. So he sits down, and he throws some of that yellow honey goo or whatever on the bed. And then he pulls out the butterfly, because beforehand, what's-her-face, James Gunn's girlfriend, had asked him what happened to the butterfly, and he said he killed it. But he didn't kill it. He put it in a big friggin' jar and brought it home, and I was like, ooh. So I'm curious to see what will happen, like, with the ship, and will this thing talk at all, or what will happen and what's going on there. So then he goes into the mess hall, and he sees the dad, and he's all like, all right, it's go time. So then Eagly attacks the jar and tries to, like, get into it, and he's like, Eagly, no, and everything. Judo Master is not dead, apparently, which is good. I really like Judo Master, and if they kill him and he doesn't, like, make it into Season 2, if there is a Season 2, I hope there's a Season 2, or a movie. What a waste of a good actor and a good character. I love this character. I love how him and Peacemaker, like, tete-a-tete, their little tete-a-tete, not only with fists, but with words. It's so good. I love it. So then they're sitting here talking. She's like, I've never shot somebody. And then she's all like, the first time I killed somebody, I didn't have my period for 3 months. And I was like, what? And everything. I was like, okay, that's crazy. And she's like, if you don't, the fact that you feel it and you feel guilty about it is good, because if you don't, you end up being a soulless creature like Amanda Waller. And, it must be hard for her hearing a lot of crap talk from everybody about how Amanda Waller's a monster. And even though I think Amanda Waller isn't she is a villain, but I think that a lot of the time she does what it takes to keep America safe and everything. So I think that she's one of those people. She's like, listen, somebody's got to make the tough calls, and if it's got to be me, it's got to be me. And if everybody hates me for it, then that's what I have to deal with. And I respect her for it, and I think she's also a bad bitch, because of it. She's a boss bitch. So then she's all like, yeah, I convinced Vigilante to go kill his dad. She's like, wait, what? So he's like, how? You guys are always screwing up. He's like, that's just going to make matters worse. We need this guy to be on our side kind of thing. And so they're like, I don't even know who he is. So they look him up. I love this biker photo right here. It's so funny and adorable. I love his glasses and everything. I love everything about this photo. Anyways, so they look him up. They find him. And then they're like, we need to get him out now before he does something stupid. So he goes in and he sits down and he's all like, hey, why don't we talk about what we're grateful for? Why don't we talk about what black people have contributed to society that has bettered society? And he's like, I'll go first. they invented rock and roll music. And I don't want to get into all of it, but if you look it up, like Elvis stole his whole thing from a black guy. It sucks. Although he did talk about how like white country music would just sound like guys fucking their sister, and I didn't think that was correct in that. But he's trying to get him mad, so I got that. I was like, listen, I'm not like the hugest fan of country music, but like if you listen to like Willie Nelson and like Dolly Parton, they're fantastic. I love their music and some other ones. I'm just naming them off the top of my head. But rock and roll music, I mean, we need to be honest about it and not be, black people created rock and roll music and we're better for it because rock and roll music is fantastic. So then of course he's pissing him off. And then this guy's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the guy that, he's like, well, I know you're, mad because your mom got railed by like a bunch of black dudes and pisses him off. So he gets into a big fight and he beats them all up. And then he's all like, I'm not going to attack you. I'm going to look, there's cameras. I'm going to look like the instigator. And then they go out on the ground. He's like, you're a bad father. And he's all like, I want to talk to Detective Song. I have information. He's like, crap, I messed up. So then back at this bar, she's trying to just have a drink. And he walks up and she's like, please stop bothering me on my off time unless it has to deal with work. And he's all like, it does kind of have to deal with work. She's like, what? And he's like, what does it say that my dad did to me in my file? And she's like, I don't know. I didn't study your file. And she's like, but I did see that your brother died and you had something to do with it. And as soon as it's that, I was like, man, I wonder what happened. And he leaves and everything, and she's just blurring out all the noise because there's like a soccer game going on. Sorry, football game. So he goes home, he gets drunk, high, and put on some record. I don't remember the song, but I remember I loved it. I was like, yeah, this is a good song. So, and then he blows smoke into this little butterfly thing, which I'm very curious about these butterflies now. Like, I don't, okay. So my whole thing, let me just wait till we get to the end. So then he's sitting here, he gets out, he's like, you must have friends in high places. He gets out, he's sitting there taking care of Judo Master. Her wife calls, and she doesn't answer, but she finds, he's sitting here watching some movie. It starred Mel Gibson. I don't remember what it was, though. I didn't look it up, and it doesn't matter. But he's just sitting here watching it. And I'll talk about it as soon as we get to the end. He gets out and she picks him up. James Gunn's girlfriend. I don't remember her name. I'm sorry. Please don't get mad at me in the comments. And if you do, oh well. So then he gets in the car and he's like, I think I made things worse. And he's upset about it. He's like really upset about it because he does think a Peacemaker is his friend. And he might have made things worse with their relationship with each other. Which I'm all like, oh, poor Vigilante. Like, even though he's like a psychopath and he's like going off killing, racists and stuff like that. Racism is no good. And I don't feel bad for the fake characters that he's ended. So he's upset about it, and she's like, I think she feels bad for him because, she knows that he's not trying to hurt his friend. He just wants to do the right thing. So he's dancing. Love it. I'm very curious to how many episodes John Cena is going to die. By the way, the intro song, do you really want to taste me? I watch that every single time. It is so good. I love that intro. More intros like that, please. Anyways, and he has memories of this guy, and his dad made him kill him because he just goes in and he just starts stabbing him. And I'm all like, man, that is hardcore. So hardcore. And he's just so happy about it. And I'm all like, that's so weird. I know it's fake. These aren't real people, but I'm like, man, somebody out there is really this demented. There has to be. So, and then he sees this, how he killed Rick Flag, which I hope Rick Flag is not dead. I really, I hope, even though I don't have hopes for Flashpoint, I really hope that they bring him back, because he did a good job in the Suicide Squad. It was really good. I like that character there. Passed out, and both Eagly and the Butterfly come to him after he passes out. And I was like, what's going on with this Butterfly? I really want to know what's doing with these guys. And then he has another memory about him and his brother rocking it out, like, yeah, and everything. And then he has a flashback to his death. And he gets hit and he starts seizuring. And I was all like, okay, so this is my theory on this. He did kill his brother. Like, his brother, when he fell back, he hit his head somehow, and that caused the seizure / his death. But the reason he hit his brother, This is just my theory, is that his dad made them fight. Like, his dad was like, come on, wussies, fight, okay, and everything. And he didn't mean to kill his brother, but he did. And I'm all like, that's hardcore. I would never be able to forgive my father for that if he did that. Like, and I don't understand how Peacemaker does. I don't care how much crap your dad builds you. You can't be around this guy. He's got too much sin to recover from. So she goes through, she finds a card, and then she goes through Annie Sturfussen's purse, and she finds a badge for this Glen Ty, it looks like Satellites company. I think it says Satellites. Her hand is covering it up. And she's all like, she finds the connection. So then she calls Mern, and she's like, I found something. He's like, all right, I'll be right over in a minute. And I thought it was just because he was emotionless that he was sitting here like this, but no, he's sitting there because he's a butterfly. He's a butterfly, and you see the honey stuff right there on his table. So this is my thoughts on him and the butterflies. I think they're doing kind of what Marvel did with the Skrulls. You have some bad butterflies and then some good butterflies, but with the Skrulls and the Kree. So the good butterflies are here on Earth, and they're taking over humans. But they're not killing them. They just need them as hosts. And he is somehow part of some kind of butterfly, or maybe he's just, mad at them. I don't know exactly what his deal is, but he wants to take them down because he's part of the bad butterflies. And the other ones are just kind of like refugee butterflies. That's my theory. I'm probably wrong. I'm just saying. But yeah, and then that's where the episode ends, with this big reveal that
He's a butterfly. And again, I think that this show is very good. I'm enjoying every episode so far. I think that James Gunn is a good writer. I've liked everything he's done so far that I can think of. If there's something that I didn't like, then I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I liked this. I liked Suicide Squad, yada, yada, yada. I liked, even that movie that he didn't write. He just produced that one with the little kid, and he's like a bad Superman, but a little kid Superman. I even like that one. I liked it. It was very good. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Listen. Tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Did you not like this episode? Did you like this episode? What do you think the butterflies are? Do you think I'm right with that whole thing? Or do you think I'm right with my theory that Peacemaker is going to kill his father by the end of this season? What are your theories on this whole thing? How much do you love John Cena dancing? And how much do you love that intro? I love that intro. I could watch that like all day. It's so good it's so good. All right. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my Peacemaker breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.